So you asked, uh, where did you ask? Ask that again.
I asked then the base the subscript like versus y times log base two to
Hmm.
the power of three. Is the subscript two understood or is it just
Okay.
like you know
So
just
there's
like supposed to be like
no,
understood?
no. So here's the no and yes, yes and no. So just like what we went over in psychology, you think more than just on one track at the same time. So when you do it, you just write down log. But do you see that it needs to be a 2 yet? That's the real question. What if it needed to be a 5? So what we do is we look at 2 and 32. You may not see it immediately, but what Mr. Smasher likes to do is I personally, let me use another, I like to kind of just work through it and apply my log properties first, right? So I like to rewrite the
Mm-hmm.
log, and then I
Mm-hmm.
assign any base log that should be answering part of your question. It doesn't matter what the base is. It does, but it may not matter yet when you're applying the rules. If you apply the rules, what you're doing is you're trying to break these down to see if you can find a base that's common to both of these. So if you had both 8 and 32, I'm going to take the greatest. I'm going to take 8 and 32, right? I'm going to break it down to their lowest forms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and do a factor tree. This is what Mr. Smasher thinks. See the factor trees? But see, I didn't think that instantly. I'm a fan of, the Jim So, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anakin's form. I like to bulldoze through it and then I counter. So somewhere in this step here, I may or may not see it like right here, right? It's a little hazy, but then I bulldoze and then it starts to become more apparent, right? Then I can see what I need to do. And I'm like, okay, if you look over here, this is also occurring in the other part of my brain, right? I'm like, okay, my brain is breaking these numbers up. It's using its parallel processing to break these numbers up. So I know that's 8 times 4, right? So then I know that's 2 times 2, and I know that's 2 to the third power. So all of this is 2 to the fifth power, and all of this is 2 to the third power, correct?
Correct.
So then now I strike. Now you know that if you use base 2, right, then
Mm-hmm.
we can use the inverse rule, right? Where that tells us that 2 to something is 2 to the third. That would be 3, right? So if I just look at this one and I see that, right, and I have this, I'm like, okay, well, I need something to be to the third. Well, the way that something, and I'll put something in the box here, it's small, the something, that's the 2. That has to be equal to 3. So then I look at that and I'm like, okay, that something needs to be 2 so that it's 2 to the 3 is 2 to the 3. Because that's how we read logarithms, right? We read them like, okay, 2 to the y is equal to the argument, x, right? Or this is your argument. Ask any questions you want to ask. You still with me, or did you? Oh, you're looking.
I'm just looking. I'm just reading what you did. I see.
The reason
So
why
basically, like,
this is why I do. What's the other form he does? I keep saying just Dejinso. There's another Shin and Dejinso. Yeah. The reason why I kind of compare that metaphor to Star Wars and Nate Gillard and the sequences they used and German longsword. What I love about, and it almost never fails that in any activity, you're countering a lot, right? You're pivoting or whatever the case may be. But the idea here is that it's the same thing in mathematics. You don't want to think about your next move until you've organized the moves you need to clean it, to get it to something that your brain can visually see and organize, right, in the higher centers of your mind. if you try to think, oh, I need to have this foresight and see, oh, look, it's y times 3 is equal to 5. What if somebody was foolish enough to think that? How would that solve the problem? It wouldn't. So nobody really sees too far ahead. And I kind of extend that to Dune, right? Where you can see the stream and you can see a few streams down the river. But you may not see how all those streams ahead are interacting when it's that far ahead. So you don't typically want to think too far ahead. You want to think within about 2 or 3 steps and let your mind do its parallel processing in the background. Let it break down that 8 and 32 into 2, and then you see it. Notice how I never used this factor tree in the last lecture. I didn't use it. But my mind was doing that without me even having to think it.
Oh,
And now we see how to think.
So I kind of see where you're coming. So basically, you're basically looking at like factors like common between the two, so you can write in subscripts.
Yeah, you're trying to apply that inverse rule. So if we go back to what that was, I don't know if it's on this page.
It is.
It is, yeah.
The last two.
Yeah, it is. And that's where we discovered it. Before I even taught you the rule, we had discovered it. I almost even questioned it because I hadn't done logs in a whole minute. Well, I didn't really, but I broke it down for sure. You see how I broke it down? I didn't know it was called the inverse rule, quote unquote. I do so much mathematics, I'm not going to always stay hinged up on the vernacular. But then we went to the rules, and then guess what? We found out that was the inverse rule somewhere right here. That's why I had it boxed in. 2 to the 9 is 2 to the 9. It's direct. Okay. So now that we've covered that, now that that's been covered, that'll be it for that one. What have you gone over in? Let's see what Hans can do in dealing with. That'll be the next one.
Anakin, Chancellor Palpatine is evil! From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Well, then you are lost!
This is the end for you, my master. Ninja, vanish!